Well, I said earlier this week that this is a massive game and the teams are in. Biggest game of the autumn, I think, by a mile, and one of the biggest games of the whole calendar year, I think, in terms of international rugby. It probably goes alongside the All Blacks against the Springboks at Eden Park, the build-up and the hype ahead of that for the Rugby Championship. But France, South Africa in November, Paris, Saturday night, a repeat of that incredible quarter-final in 2023. What is not to love? And the teams are in. So give me your views down below. What do you make of these two sets of 23? Where do you see the game being won? How are you feeling ahead of this one? Because, yeah, it is tantalising. If you're a rugby fan, it doesn't get much better, I think, than these two teams. I'm fearful I'm not going to be able to watch the game live on Saturday because I'm going to be at Twickenham, I'm going to be working and working out timings. I think there's a real chance that I'm not going to be able to catch it live. So I'm going to have to try and catch up, which I'm gutted about. But yeah, it's absolutely massive. So give me your views down below, and whilst you're here, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll start off with the Springboks. This is the 23 that Rassie Erasmus has gone with. Uncharacteristically waiting until later in the week. He's kept us all on the edge of our seat this week. We're used to seeing him go on a Monday or a Tuesday. But what are the big things that stick out to you when you look at this 23? Siya Kolisi making his 100th appearance for the Springboks. Let's just pause and appreciate that for a moment. It's an incredible milestone for any player that does that. Like, given how physical and how professional the game is now, the amount of injuries people go for, Kolisi himself has had some pretty serious injuries. To get to 100 appearances for your country shows an incredible skill, first of all, I suppose, but an incredible kind of mental strength, physical durability. And he brings up the 100th, not to mention the fact of his resume as Springboks captain, the World Cups, the Lions Tour, the back-to-back rugby champs, all that sort of stuff. So a brilliant milestone for him, and what a game, by the way, to do it as well. What a game to make your 100th appearance. So that's incredible. The thing I think that when I look at games like this, in particular for the Springboks, because of the amount they rotate, and we know why, we know how well they do it, better than any other side, partly because of the strength and depth they had in comparison to other nations, but we see them chop and change the team a lot. Players come in, players come out. They're building experience. They're always looking down the line to the next World Cup. It's something they do incredibly well. The thing I love about games like this is it shows us right here, right now, what's your strongest 23. Injuries obviously play a part. No Oxenche in this team. He would be there. Of course he would if he was fit. But it shows us, if it was a World Cup final this weekend, who would Rassie Erasmus be picking as his strongest team? It's the best insight we get to that, which comes few and far between, I think, compared to many other teams. So I love it when looking at this team that you kind of see where they're thinking. And there's two things that stick out to me. Number one is the most obvious one. It is such a strong side, as you would expect it to be. Number two is it is an experienced side. The amount of players in that squad that have been there and done it, that have been in matches like this against the top teams, in tough environments, that know how to get it done in the biggest games, I think is pretty telling. But also, the total opposite end of that spectrum is the 10 jersey. Because more often than not, in the biggest games, in the Erasmus era, who's been the 10? Pollard. With the exception, there are a few exceptions. The one that springs to mind for me was the World Cup semi-final when Libbok was the 10 and got hooked early because the game plan wasn't working. England were actually on the front foot and it was Pollard that came on and steadied the ship. So often, Pollard has been the guy when the pressure is on in the biggest matches, he's been your 10. I think it says everything about the season he has had in a Springbok jersey that Sasha Feinberg, Mngomezulu, is given the reins. Because he's been the biggest development this year, hasn't he, in terms of, I suppose, just a player that has come through. I know there have been others, but he has just been absolutely sensational. He's had big appearances already and big tests, and this is an absolutely massive one, arguably the biggest, you could say, at the weekend. So how he goes at 10 and the fact that he is the starting 10, Libbok is on the bench, so it could have been him. He's a pretty experienced player as well. The fact it's him, I think, says an awful lot. What an opportunity for him. Excited to see how he goes. And then the final thing is balance. There is balance across that team. Even if you just look at it from the front row, loads of quality, as I say. And Che would probably be there. I guess he could be kind of the guy that is your bomb squad, but I think he'd probably start. But Malcolm Marx, Thomas Dutoy, two of the best operators in the world. Ebenezer and Lou de Jager, just two top quality second rows. In your back row, you've got the kind of industry and skill and work rate of Sia Khaleesi. Peter Steph-Toy is essentially a second row that plays in the back row but has such a great work rate, gets through so much work. Jasper Wiese, who's your explosive, incredible athlete at 8, and then you go through the back. You can keep doing it, and just they've got so many bases covered in this team. I think that's what I love about it. But that is an incredibly good Springbok team. Springbok fans, let me know what you make of it in the comment section. But yeah, it's pretty formidable. Exciting to see how they'll go. What about the France 15? Well, this is who they've gone with. No Antoine Dupont, which is a shame. We expected it because he's coming back from injury. He's also played loads of rugby, hasn't he, over probably the last few years. So no Dupont is a shame. In Le Garrec and Luku, you've still got two very good options. Interesting that Le Garrec is the guy that starts. Luku's coming off the bench. When I look at this French team, or actually I'll say that in a minute, one more point in terms of a specific position I think for France is number 8. No Gregory Aldrit. There were reports that he didn't want to tour New Zealand in the summer. I wonder whether that has been held against him. He's not a part of the squad. He's been playing for La Rochelle. It seems like there's been a bit of a falling out there with Fabien Gaultier, which is massive, by the way. Like, when Dupont wasn't there, Aldrit was the captain. It's easy to forget that. He was the captain of this French team. Such a key cog, like a world-class number 8. And he's now no longer a part of it. So Michael Guyard, I think I got my pronunciation right, is your number 8. What that does do is allow you to pick Emmanuel Meafu in the second row alongside Thibaut Flamand, because Guyard has shifted from there to number 8. Guyard is kind of a big body, I guess a bit like Aldrit, but like a big body, bruising kind of number 8. Plus you get Meafu into your second row as an absolute unit. And I think you look at the 6-2 bench split for France, you look at some of the selections, in particular those ones that I just mentioned, and I think they have prioritised size and power, plus a whole load of experience coming back into the team from that which toured New Zealand, which we knew was going to happen, because on those kind of summer tours, as we call them in this part of the world, they always take kind of like almost a second or third string team. So loads of experience coming back in, but also loads of size and power, I think, as well. The matchup between these two sides at set piece, scrum, those forward packs is really, really intriguing. Both such good operators, and also it's a French backline that a lot like the Springbok backline, when you've got Colby and Arenzer. Willems are back at 15. Love that, by the way. I've loved seeing him back kind of more consistently this year. But then you've got Thomas Ramos, Damien Penaud, Louis Bielbiere. Yeah, it's exciting. It's incredibly exciting. Two really, really good teams. How do you see it going? Because, yeah, I think they're pretty evenly matched as well. Like, when you look at a lot of these teams, I know I ran through the Springbok team and what they look like. And the French side is also a pretty well-balanced side in terms of power, speed, athleticism. Speak about the bench and 6'2", and Roman Taufifenua is there, the size he can kind of have given you punch. Oscar Jegu, who has also played in the backs. He is a forward, but he has played in the back, so it's almost the opposite of the Esterhazen, who's kind of offering that role for the Boks. Two quality teams, an absolutely mouth-watering contest. How do you see it going? Give me your views down below. What do you make of these two matchday 23s? I look forward to reading your comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.